Welcome to another episode of Road to Recovery with your boy Recovery, with your grown ass man, Recovery Lord. And before we get into today's group, I have some questions that I want to ask the group. I've been doing this in person also with my clients, and so I want to do this on a virtual group as well. The first question I have for the group is, what am I grateful for right now in my life? What I'm grateful for right now in my life is the fact that I even have one, and the fact that my addiction did not completely destroy me. And I was able to put that down and leave that in my past and leave it alone before it got to that point. So hopefully that's a decision that everyone out there has made for themselves as well. If not, if you felt like you needed a little bit more information, then hopefully this online virtual group has been giving you the space, the courage, the motivation, the momentum to do that. I did just jump right in. I also want to shout out Uncle Jeffrey. I saw you in the comments, Uncle Jeff. That's what I'm talking about. I like that. And we coming up for Grandma's Memorial, August 1st. We're going to come up to the Death Row Mansion in New Jersey. And it's going to be a lot of Masons there. So I hope you're ready for that. We coming up. And hopefully you come. I know you said you was coming down for the 4th of July. You know, Lil Mike having the whole Wallapalooza and all the fireworks and all that. And you guys are invited. I know you and Zachary said y'all coming. So hopefully y'all come down. So the first question, what am I grateful for right now? Second question is, what do I need to let go of? What do I need to let go of? And in group, I want to say the number one answer was my past. Some people mentioned their pain. For me, what I had to let go of is my attitude. I had an attitude problem when I was younger, and they got places for people with attitudes. One of them is called Central Bookings. I'm not sure if you ever heard of this, but they got places for people with not only with attitudes but can't control their attitudes. If you got all that irritation and all that stuff build up, all that animosity, use that as fuel. Use that as fuel. Use that for your dedication, for your motivation, for not being willing to give up. Number 3, what am I proud of myself for? What are you proud of yourself for right now in this moment? I can tell you that what I'm proud of is that I never gave up 100%. I gave up 80, gave up 85. It was times where my life was on the ropes. Like Rocky, when he was getting his ass whooped by the Russian. And it was like, fight back, Rock, fight back. And I guess his strategy is I'm gonna let him wear himself out. And then once he get a little weary, then I'm a jump on him and put BTA, belt to ass. So put belt to ass to your demons. You want to put BTA, and we using this stuff. You better put belt to ass to your problems and your demons, and be 10 toes down on your change, on your evolution, and stand on that. Because people try and stand on business, but if you're not a businessman or a businesswoman, then you might be, well, the business a lot of people try and stand on is scam. So that's not a strong foundation. So you want to stand on your recovery. You want to stand on the fact that you're about to live the best part of your life, which is the next chapter. But all that only is going to happen if that's something you want to happen. If not, you're going to keep commanding your suffering and your pain. And yeah, they say it's like sunshine and like rain. But hey, Nothing's more powerful than a made-up mind. So I'm proud of myself for never fully giving up. Number 4, what do I love about myself? What is something that you love about yourself? Do you love your personality? Do you love your sense of humor? Because laughter is the best medicine? Do you love that you pay attention, you're keen, and you're observant, and not a lot gets past you? What is it that you love? Are you a good cook? What do you get compliments for in life? Nobody, and I was taught this from my mother. Shout out, Miss Star Lake. Okay, Star Hahi. That nobody is completely wrong and bad. So it is some good in there, and hopefully that good part of you, that part is the part that you're willing to nurture more, so that it can get stronger and do a better job of representing you. Number 5, what do I need to forgive myself for? What do you need to forgive yourself for? For past mistakes? For hanging with the wrong crowd? For messing up apartments? For messing up your voucher? For screwing your car up, screwing your relationship up? Messing your first marriage up, or your marriage? Whatever that is, you need to understand and forgive yourself for that. It's power in forgiveness. When I got older, the first person I had to forgive is my parents. Because when you young and you got all these complaints, how you being raised and how you supposed to be eating Elio pizza every day, and you supposed to have the duck hunt with 2 guns just in case the first one mess up and all that. And you get upset, you're not being raised the way you're supposed to. So the first people you want to get mad at is your parents. Well, you're going to have to forgive them for as much as you can. I understand that some things are not going to be forgiven. Some things you cannot pray away. Some things are just what they are. I get that. But whatever you can forgive for, you need to do that. Because you need to forgive the part of yourself that feels hurt by that still. So one quick thing before I go into today's message, I want to ask everyone out there, have they heard of SMART goals? SMART goals. So SMART goals are a framework for setting effective, actionable objectives by ensuring they are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So SMART is an acronym, and each letter in this acronym stands for something. The S is for specific. That means your goal should be clearly defined, detailed, and unambiguous. We know ambiguity is we could go either way on something. No, you can't go either way on something when something is specific. I'm going to save this amount of money each week, this amount of money this month. I'm going to smoke 8 cigarettes, 6 cigarettes. If you've been smoking 10 cigarettes and 12 or a whole damn pack, then your goal, one of your SMART goals, should be knocking some of them down and off of that tally. It's not for me to determine how many, but we know a goal, or what our lungs and our heart want us to do, is to put that shit down. The people who care about us want to see us put that stuff down. M is measurable. The goal must include metrics to track progress and know when it's achieved. A, achievable. Objectives should be realistic and attainable given available resources. So you don't want to say your goal is to start a record label and, save $1 million. And here it is. You don't have access to that type of money. and you're not a rapper. You trying to sign people to deals and stuff. So it needs to be something that's achievable, that's in your range of abilities. Because if you're trying to do something that is not in your range of abilities, then you be setting yourself up for failure. And the number one thing black people always love to do is, yeah, because by the time my birthday, I'm gonna be pulling up on y'all, and then it get closer and closer to your birthday, and you don't even got the damn down payment down, let alone your credit or whatever, all the stuff that go into certain things. So don't set yourself up for that. Relevant. The goal must align with broader long-term objectives or core purposes. And the last one is T, time bound. A clear deadline, or what I like to say, lifeline or time frame, is required to create urgency and focus. Because you don't want to say, my goal is to get a car, and then 10 years later, your goal is to get that same car. It has to have a timestamp on it. And that timeline is to create urgency and focus. So the example that they give of a SMART goal is, instead of I want to get fit, a SMART goal is I will join a gym, work out 3 times a week for 45 minutes to increase my stamina over the next 3 months. So going to get a membership that's specific, measurable, because you're going to work out 3 times a week for 45 minutes. Achievable, because you can do this as long as you're able-bodied. And it's a timeline for the next 3 months. That's an example of a SMART goal. Or the formula on how to make use that formula to create and amalgamate and put together your goal. So today's group message and what I want to talk about is detours. When you mess up, when you slip, when you fuck up, when you mess around and get caught with your hand in the cookie jar. So first off, no one is granting you some sort of special permission to fail. You're not getting a hall pass from your SMART goals or anyone else to fail in your recovery. The person that's ideally most concerned with you not experiencing a setback, hopefully is you. Hopefully is you. You know, we talk about boundaries a lot. And when people talk about boundaries, they mainly focus on external boundaries, what you're not going to allow somebody to do to you, and I'm protecting my peace and all of this. But a lot of people don't talk about internal boundaries or even bring it up like that's a thing. Shout out to my man Cardo on his thing, on his shorts, keeping the standard, something with the standard. When I'm gonna share his thing on YouTube too. Check him out. He talks a lot about standards, which are internal boundaries, goals, things that you're not gonna do, that you're not gonna cross, certain levels that you want to uphold yourself to, not certain levels that you're making sure everybody else around you exists on, but levels that you hold yourself to. Self-accountability. That said, statistics show that many people in addiction recovery have setbacks along the way. So let's say that you got started in recovery and you have a lapse. You're in recovery, you mess up, you slip up. So this is how to not deal with a setback. Again, this is how you should not be dealing with a setback. First way you should not be dealing with a setback is telling yourself another time will be better. There's nothing that says a better time will ever come along. Though it may be difficult, there's no evidence that it will ever be any easier to recover than it is right now. Waiting for your planets to align is not a good plan. There's no time like the present. So for the people saying, oh yeah, I'm going to wait till my birthday. You know, tax time just ended. Some people was waiting for tax time to be over with. My birthday, what else? Vacations. I'm gonna wait till school get out. Waiting and doing all these upcoming dates on when you're gonna decide to actually recover, to accept recovery or even try recovery. There is no better time like now. That's why it's called the present. There is no time in the future guaranteed to us. Cousin Cliff, shout out to Cousin Cliff, boom. Cousin Cliff said tomorrow is already gonna take care of itself. So it's no need in you even being overly worried about that. Me and Cousin Cliff talk every day. If you friends with Cousin Cliff on Facebook or whatever, hit my man up. Hit him up. Let him tell you about the blessing he just got recently. And he also says you can't keep crying the blues over yesterday's news. He say that every conversation we have. That means it means something. It's a reason he repeating it. So the first thing you don't want to do is constantly say, yeah, come next weekend. You know, I had people tell me that before when I was a counselor on Monument Street. Man, that recovery stuff, they sound like Shorty when he was in the when he listened to Malcolm X talk for the first time after he got out. He was like, man, this religious gig is pretty good, man. This religious rap. He was like, this ain't no rap, Shorty. This is how I'm living right now. That recovery stuff sound good, Mr. Mason. Yeah, it's Friday, you know, so the weekend here. So I'm going to come up there first thing Monday morning. And what happened over the weekend? An overdose. Something they didn't see happening. Or something bad. Or somebody locked up. Or something like that. So don't put off what you can do today for tomorrow. Second thing. Blaming it on others. Stop blaming other people. You might deal with your lapse by blaming your peers, your family, your ex, or just about anyone else. That if someone else didn't offer it, or hadn't treated you a certain way, or pressured you into using, you wouldn't have lapsed. By using blame, you're trying to convince yourself that it wasn't you that chose to use. You were forced into it. If that was so, your recovery is at the mercy of the world. You might as well go and get into a damn doomsday bunker or do something where you isolated in the woods if your whole life is predicated on somebody else. Especially if you trying to recover in a city like Baltimore City. Because the minute you go around certain people and tell them, yeah, I'm done with drinking, that's when you're going to get offered a free goddamn beer. You done had to pay for all the rest of the ones. But when people think you about to get the shine back in your life and you about to get that twinkle back in your eye, you know that upset people. You want to get offered free drugs? Tell a bunch of drug addicts you stop getting high. You're going to be offered all type of pills. So stop blaming your mistakes on others because you're shifting the blame on where it should be. And that's with you first and foremost. Because nothing is more or less attractive than an adult person who is grown but's trying to blame their kids, grandkids, or how many fresh-headed ducks, twerkulators, animals. They gator boots. He had a whole list. You want to have that whole list of people you ready to blame for beer being in your hand. for you looking around for some dust. And you know the dust that be in the corner of the bag be all different type of colors. Blue, pink, yellow. It's a mix of all them other pills that was in the bag. Next, telling yourself you can't handle recovery. You might tell yourself that recovery is driving you crazy. You can't stop, or that urges are forcing you to use. Being upset is not the same as going crazy. Urges cannot force you to addict yourself, and you be sort of an anomaly if you are not capable of recovery. Why? Because millions of people have recovered from all sorts of addictions, and you can too. It's less of a matter of if you can than if you will. And it takes a mindset. Free your mind and the rest shall follow. I'm not sure if y'all, read, it's a book floating around that says something like, as a man thinketh, so shall he be, or something like that. I may not be saying it word for word, and I don't know the passage or whatever, but I think you heard this before. So if you look at yourself as a failure, you could be in a room full of people telling you you did your best. All that's falling on deaf ears. The next thing you should not be doing is telling yourself you're not ready. If you've been watching Road to Recovery long enough now, then you already know what I'm going to say. Yes, thank you. That's nothing but your addiction doing the thinking for you. Telling yourself you're not ready. If you're already in recovery, it was probably for a good reason. You may want to remind yourself of why you got into recovery in the first damn place, rather than talk yourself out of seeking freedom from addiction. Why are you here? It's a reason why. It's too many blackouts. It's too much money being spent on this shit. It's too much preoccupation. If you at work and you thinking about standing in front of the going to the store, standing in front of opening the door to the freezer and grabbing your favorite drink. If you thinking about that at work, then you might have missed that wet sign over there and slip and bust your ass. One thing I know, back in the day, I'm not sure if they doing it now with all the laws changing, but I used to know that if you smoke weed, it ain't no such thing as getting hurt at work. Because the first thing they're going to do is give you a drug test. And the minute that shit come back double platinum or whatever the case may be, or even if it go gold, guess who don't have a claim to no type of workman's comp? Matter of fact, you need to hope and pray your monkey ass still got a job after this. And the last thing you should not be doing, again, these are all things you should not be doing. Seeing your setback as an all or nothing disaster. Saying things like, I've blown all the time I had, and believing you're starting all over again may make your setback appear to be a recovery ending event. Your good days are still there if you are concerned about reclaiming them. Victory is already yours, but it's not going to fall in your damn lap. You're going to have to claim it. So how you should be dealing with a setback, a lapse, or a relapse. First thing you should be doing is taking responsibility for it. Don't cop out and blame others or situations on what happened. That creates a twofold problem. First, you're blaming someone else, and that could cause a relationship issue. If you're interested in keeping your relationship. And secondly, it defers you from seeing your own involvement in decisions. You cannot correct your thinking and actions if you're busy blaming everybody else and others, using your intelligence to do breakdowns on people that should be using their intelligence to do breakdowns on themselves. Second thing you should be doing is learning from the setback. It's not a total loss if you learn something from what happened and make plans to not have similar situations trip you up. Here, you may want to avoid certain situations or create a relapse prevention plan. And a relapse prevention plan is you in your right mind while you're sober doing hypotheticals. Okay, I go see my guard brother. I go see Man or whoever. And I know how Man get down. And he gonna try to give me a half a pill. Because he got mad at the last time when I told his ass I stopped getting high. And he want to make it a duet instead of a solo because they claim misery loves company. So we supposed to be doing whatever together. So he gonna ask me, he gonna let me know that he got pills and all that. And this is what I'm gonna do. This how I'm gonna react. This how I'm gonna respond. Now, just because you have a plan, does that mean it's going to work? No, it doesn't. My favorite team, Baltimore Ravens, they supposed to be going to the Super Bowl last year. And, shout out to the Baltimore Ravens, but the only way they went to the Super Bowl is if they bought a damn ticket. Because they damn sure ain't win and you're in. They didn't even go to the playoffs. So, does a plan mean you're going to be successful? No, it doesn't. But I was told by my elders, you're better off having a plan and not needing it than needing a plan and not having it. Don't treat yourself as a failure. Lapses and other failures are events and not indicative of who you are, nor how things will eventually turn out. Learn from the event, make the needed adjustments, and move forward and keep it moving. That's how you don't turn a life lesson into a life sentence. By not letting it go and holding on to it. And we talk about trauma bonds with other people, but some people are bonded to their trauma for themselves to the point where they feel like all the fucked up stuff they've been through is who they are. That's their identity. Not the person that was hurt by all the stuff they went through. That's who you are. The bad stuff you went through is not who you are. That's what you made it out of. That's why you're strong. Because you made it through all that and you still here, God. You still here. Setbacks can create clarity on what you didn't see before. If you walk away from a setback having learned from it, it's not a total setback anymore. For instance, if you succumb to peer pressure, you may want to look to see if you carry about a habit of people pleasing, which we know is mathematically impossible. If you don't know by now, you're not going to please everybody. It's impossible. That's what our grandparents, that's what our elders taught us. But see, now with hive mind mentalities and everybody trying to be on the same accord, the minute you disagree with somebody, they want to cancel you. They want to become enraged and say all this negative stuff. The minute you tell people you're a Republican and you're black, the minute you're a black Republican, you're canceled. People can't talk to you. They can't have conversations with you anymore. Family. When even if you believe this history that we're given, and the winners The winners of history get to write it. But even if you want to believe that, and Abraham Lincoln emancipated people, then he himself was a damn Republican. He was not a Democrat. All right, I won't go on. Yeah, you're right. Doing all that because I want y'all to hold the message, this message of not giving up just because you had a lapse. And it's a right way and a wrong way to go about it. The wrong way of going about having a lapse is blaming other people. If so-and-so would have kept the back door open, I wouldn't have got locked up. Maybe if your ass wasn't out there stealing and all that type of shit, you might not got locked up for that neither. Okay, all right, yeah. So I'll be going on to things, and I get it. Okay. I see 30-minute mark. I see that 30-minute mark. That lets me know that God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Keep coming back. More will be revealed for you, by you, because of you. We prayed for the addict who picked up for the first time today. We pray for the addict who put down for the last time today. And everyone in between. You're gonna get better if that's what you want. If that's what you want. And I hope and pray that is what you want. I hope and pray that your words do match your actions. And that you're not trying to talk somebody into living a life better than the one you're living. Or, I use the analogy in group. That's like a doctor who has COPD and, he toe up from the flow up, but he about to do your surgery to save your life. If you was that good of a doctor, you think that it would be some proof in the pudding. You shouldn't be limping on your way in here to give me some things or suggestions on what I need to do. Unless you old or something. So keep coming back. I appreciate all the love. All the people that since day one been leaving comments. Charisma, Amira, the smartest person out, my counselor, my nephew, Osiris. Shout out to my nephew, Isaiah. Spoke to you today, man. Keep your head up. Hopefully my nephew, Jerome, dials in. My nephew, Lil Jamal. I heard you was up here in Baltimore. I'm crippled right now. So that's why I didn't pull up on you. But, you didn't pull up on me either, buddy. Come on, man. I taught you how to drive, Lil Jamal. Least you could do is use them damn skills to pull up on me. Say it ain't so, Joe. Say it ain't so. But love you guys anyway. Nonetheless, I'm just messing around. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Road to Recovery.